Linda McMahon. Secretary McMahon, thank you so much for joining us today. I think that's a little bit of background on how we got here to sort of national outrage over how things are going. How long do you think it will be, given the process that you have to take up, to really see the end of the Department of Education?
Well, Martha, first of all, thanks for having me this afternoon. I think the president's been crystal clear. It was a campaign message of his, and he hasn't backed off at all on closing down the Department of Education. Now, clearly, we must do this with Congress. I want to be in partners with Congress. I want to show them what the plan is for shutting down the department and convince them that it's in the best interest of students to what we'd like to do. We want to raise scores, not continue to let scores get lower. And the president is really convinced that the bureaucracy of the Department of Education is a hindrance in that. And he would like to see more of the funds that are now caught up in overhead and bureaucratic red tape go directly into the states so that there's more money actually for the programs for states.
So what's the process? How soon will we see a vote? How much support do you need in Congress? We haven't seen too many agencies close. People aren't used to watching how this plays out. So tell us.
Well, we'd have to have 60 votes in the Senate to do that.
Yeah.
And
we get that?
Well, we're going, as I said, we're going to partner with Congress. I've already talked to some of the senators about what we would like to do. I've heard some of their concerns. I want to address them as we move along, because there are plenty of programs that we can put into place that can transfer very easily. And what I would like to do is to make sure that as we, as the president says, send education back to the states, that we are providing the states with tools and best practices so that they can look at what's been successful in many other states that has raised their scores. We just got the NAEP scores at the end of January. That's the nation's report card. And we saw the state of Louisiana come up, I think they were #1 in improvement in bringing their scores up. We had the Mississippi Miracle, in which those readers and their literacy tests came literally from almost bottom in the country to now reading it at average level, which was an incredible jump. So there are states that have been innovative and aggressive in what they've been doing, and they didn't need the Department of Education to do it. But some of them do have best practices. We've seen them in Iowa, Texas, and many of the programs in Florida that have just been excellent, and we'd like to show other states what those best practices are.
So Randy Weingarten was listening to what you were saying, and I'm curious how you're going to de-grip the union hold on the money from the Department of Education and the door that has opened in the past for them to the White House. You said you were going to get rid of bureaucracy, and here's what she said in answer to that. Here she is.
Give me a break. You can't actually send $100 billion to schools throughout the country without having somebody answering the phone. I want more than oh, don't worry about it, guarantee that kids in America are going to get the $100 million of funds they get right now. Rural kids, kids with disabilities, kids who are poor.
What do you say to her, Secretary?
Well, what I'd like to say to Randy Weingarten is she didn't seem all that concerned about money flowing in when she had schools closed down during COVID. I think that was an incredible detrimental program to our students. But the president is clear about the funding that is going to continue to go to schools. And look, we've said we're going to work with different agencies. Where might some of the programs fit best? For instance, today, he stated that student loans were going to go over to SBA. And I've had a good conversation with Administrator Loeffler already about that, and we're going to work on a strategic plan together. We've talked also with Treasury and how can they be interactive in that process. Some of the IDEA programs return to HHS, and that's where they started. Title I funding was in place before there was a Department of Education. IDEA funding for our children with disabilities and special needs was in place before there was a Department of Education, and it managed to work incredibly well. Since the Department of Education was established, we've spent over $3 trillion and watched our scores continue to go down. So I am not worried at all about continuing the funding and putting more money into the hands of the states for the state departments of education, the governors, the teachers, and believe me, we want parents involved. in their children's education. I think that's crucial for the success to see our scores go up in those in all of the states.
Yeah. $3 trillion over since 1980 for flat scores is not a very good return on investment as a businesswoman.
Flat to lower
I know
scores.
you, flat to lower. I know you know that very well. Secretary McMahon, this is such an important topic for the whole country, for families, for parents. To give us a competitive edge as a country, we have to have the smartest students in the world. I know you know that. I look forward to watching this progress from the agency for as long as it's around and your oversight of the issue going forward. Thank you very much, Secretary.
Thank you for having me, Martha.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.